Howdy healers, welcome to Zero to KSM Hero, a series where I'll be attempting the Keystone Master Challenge in patch 9.1.5 on a brand new healer. The rules are simple. For the Alliance, least favored healer, least popular covenant, only moderate help from main character allowed, no linking raid or IO to main character, hugging only, and finally the challenge must be finished before posting the first video to avoid any external help or assistance, and of course for the sake of integrity. Hello everyone, and welcome back to episode 11. Today's episode is going to be a doozy, actually, and probably kind of long. We have a couple of untimed dungeons, but let's go back to the beginning. It's time walking week. Again. Because we just couldn't get enough of Legion time walking, I guess. So I did do a couple of weekly time walking dungeons and then fiddled with weak auras to show a couple of buffs and cooldowns that weren't already showing on my weak auras. So we got that taken care of, and then it's time to look for a dungeon. Woohoo! Alright, so I got invited very quickly, actually, to this group, which is a 9 Theater of Pain. So, everybody knows that I suck at Theater of Pain. I've been, dreading doing Theater of Pain because I hate it so much. And the 2 runs that I did do, I didn't get to record. I messed up. So you can see things start off a little bit rough, but it is Fortified Week, so the trash is kind of killer, and the tank is smart enough to know not to do the double pull here. So at least we have that going for us. Luckily also we have a mage, so I have mage food. That should help. Like, you can already see, how much damage people are taking. I'm gonna need the mage food. The group leader is Balgus, the Windwalker monk. There's not a lot to say this early in the dungeon, I guess, because, everybody knows that this pool sucks, or this mob sucks. And I really wish that I would have worked on my Omni CDs so I could see, who has, what defensives. I mean, I could see that the Shaman is Astral Shift, right? But I can't see all of the defenses that I would like. Especially for the Demon Hunter here. So, something I do want you to keep an eye on throughout the course of this dungeon is the healing done. This is the truly wild experience that I had here. And, it sticks out to me because even though nobody raged in the chat or anything like that, you can see by the healing done that, something isn't right already. And, look at my mana. Yeah, it's, I'm struggling. My DP, and this is a fortified week, so it's not like it's tyrannical and the bosses are harder, right? I really need to be stunning the Zera the underhanded, but, I'm busy healing. Honestly, I don't have time to stop and use paralysis. Eventually I'll prioritize it. But in this dungeon, I'm already sitting here thinking, oh my god, everybody's taking so much damage. And it's Fortified Week. How is this boss so hard? I've had easier times healing this boss on Tyrannical. I mean, maybe not at this point, but, even now I'm wow, look at how much damage everybody's taking. Yeah, I just revival that because I'm like, I can't afford to keep healing. And here's the worst part, if you want to be real technical. I didn't even get Mystic Touch up on the mobs. Like, I didn't feel like I could. Like, I didn't have time. Or energy, I guess. I'm too busy worried about when everybody's gonna tank to 50% health randomly. At least that's what it feels like. Even though our damage done is pretty okay. Especially the, the Shaman and the Windwalker are doing okay. Immediately drink. Immediately. Alright. Got my mana back to full before we go down. And this is the thing about 9s, in my opinion, by the way. Since I'm just hanging out here, chilling, right? 9s are almost as hard as a 10, but without the buffs that 10s give you. So, like, usually the affix at a 10, it can be rough, but, like, you get some kind of awesome buff for putting up with it, whereas in a 9, you have almost the same amount of damage to heal, but, like, no buff. So look how much damage this Demon Hunter is taking, but, like, he's not healing himself at all. Like, at all. Even though it's my understanding that Demon Hunters have a self-heal, like, in their rotation. So I don't know what he's doing to not press that button. And if I was a genius, I would go back and, like, look at his damage done and see, like, what he was pressing, because he sure as hell wasn't pressing whatever it is you do to heal yourself. And Demon Hunter is probably one of the classes I'm least familiar with, just because I don't enjoy the class, and, like, I did have, like, a Demon Hunter Twink in BFA to run Freehold for myself. I wasn't boosting in there. I was just running it by myself. I wasn't good enough to boost, let's put it that way. Like, my success rate of being able to do a big pool there was not ideal, but I'm not super familiar with Demon Hunters. And of the, like, 2 that I've leveled, only one of them was a tank spec. So, like, I'm not that familiar, but I know that they do have a thing to, like, take their soul fragments or whatever to get their health back. And you can see this guy is, like, barely healing himself. And I just, like, to this day, do not know what he was doing. Like, is he just, like, barely pressing any buttons? And it's not that bad right now. Like, obviously the first boss was pretty rough, but this trash, like, this is the easiest wing, in my opinion. Except for the one pull that comes after this, mini-boss. Except for that pull, this wing is easy. Like, these, like, single mobs don't do enough damage, or they're not hard to heal, so... We're just waiting for that next horrible pull. Like, I can see it over there. I know it's gonna be bad. I don't know that at this point I was prepared for how bad it was gonna be, just because, like, I haven't done a lot of Theater of Pain in general, let alone at this difficulty, so I'm not prepared. I just kind of already know that this Demon Hunter isn't healing themselves. Hardly at all. Like, it's not that they're not healing themselves at all. Like, obviously they're still second on the meters, but, like, they're still not healing themselves a lot. But don't worry. I'll bring it up. Alright, so the shaman is saying that we're gonna CC the next pack, but, like... Are we, though? So already the damage that the Demon Hunter took right at the start, like, right into the pole. feels like it's like almost unhealable. And so I'm abandoning the Demon Hunter a little bit to heal other people, and they're still like at the bottom of the self-healing. Like they didn't do anything. I had to revival. I should be using Cocoon here, but I already feel like I'm gonna have to sacrifice somebody's life. I Fort Brewed just to save myself. If I was doing this over again, already knowing that this Demon Hunter, like, still at the bottom of the self-healing, by the way, I would have Fort Brewed immediately. I seeded. I want to, like, click it off, but I don't know what happens if you do. Oh, wow, the Demon Hunter self-healed one time. They're still at the bottom of the self-healing. I really don't want to use a mana pot, like, right when we're about to, like, you know, right when the fight's about to end, but... Like, I have to drink. Like, I have to. I run up and sit to drink again. And so, like, at least they're waiting for me to get mana. They're not, like, running in like a crazy person when I'm at, like, 10%. But it's still like, alright, you are so close to being, like, a good tank. Like, at least you're aware that I don't have any mana. But, like, you're not healing yourself. Like, there's no reason why everybody else should be higher on the healing meters than you. Like, look at that. The Demon Hunter is... Okay, now he's up there. He's getting beat out by the Shaman and the Mage. Like, it's not even a Draenei Mage that could have used Gift of the Naru, right? It's just a regular Mage. I know they have, like, Conduit that where their barrier does healing or whatever, but still, it's, like, barely... Like, compared to what self-healing tanks can do, it's nothing. I'm just gonna harp on this the whole dungeon, so, like, everybody that was like, wow, your channel's so wholesome, like, you're just so wholesome, like, I'm wholesome until I run into something like this, and then I'm, like, trying to keep my cool in the group, right? Like, I'm not gonna be completely rude, and honestly will never try to be the first one to leave, but, like, this is the easiest wing of the dungeon, in my opinion, and... Like, it's already felt like crap. Alright, so... Two of our guys get sent down. Luckily, we have one of the better DPS, like the Mage is not nearly as good as the Shaman or the Windwalker in this group. Probably just a product of, I don't know, not having the gear or something. So, we're excited that we at least have a decent DPS up here with us. Alright, Mage gets obliterated. Thank God for Tiger's Lust. I think I would have got hit with it if I hadn't used it. Got our banner back up. The DPS are immediately going onto the banner, so there's that. Roll is just a cheat. Like I've said in the last couple of videos. Like, roll is just so good. Eventually I'll learn not to get locked out there, by the way. Alright, so now it's just me and the tank with this banner, and I feel pretty confident that we're not going to get it down. Mostly because the tank is just not doing any self-healing, so I can't just freely DPS. Luckily, our actual DPS Oh, I am just not doing well here. I think I'm busy being mind blown that everybody is like, or that the tank is taking so much damage that I can't even DPS the banner without healing him. I'd say most groups, like, you can toss, like, a heal on the tank and then start attacking the banner and then, like, do minimal upkeep. But this guy, no. He's, like, got his back to the boss and everything. Like, I have to babysit him the whole time. Alright. Our DPS go back down again. I feel like I have no juice left. That slow is bad, too. It's not even, like, 50% slow. It slows you by a lot. At least it feels like it. Banner back up. Everybody's kind of running out of juice. Mana pot because I, like, really feel like I don't have a choice. Boss is almost dead, but, like, you saw how fast the tank's health went down with the banners and stuff. I don't trust that he won't die if I don't have a mana pot. Luckily, Touch of Death coming in clutch. They should release. There we go. Like, when you release, you come right to the middle, so you want to release. Alright, so this is an example here where we gotta be paying attention. We have a Windwalker. They pulled when I didn't have full mana, even though this guy is, like, just not healing himself. Diseases everywhere. Luckily, our shaman is on it with his stun totem. Static whatever. Static charge. I don't remember the name of it. Alright, well I die, so that's cool. Come back with more mana than I had when I died, probably. A revival because I feel like I don't have a choice if I want to save people, but, like, look at where the tank is on the healing meters. Like, he's not in the top 4. And I'm dispelling him, right? But the Windwalker isn't doing a great job of dispelling as well, so... That said, our shaman is pretty good, I think. Like, he's at least trying to interrupt. There we go. I'm being sassy. Look what we have here. Fresh meat. So I say my piece. A little more self-healing. Like, I'm trying to be chill about it. Like, when you have a good group in a hard key, the tank is doing about half of the healer's healing. Or more. But, like, at least half, right? Especially when they have, like, you know, if they have gear. I have no clue what this guy's gear is. I didn't look. I didn't inspect him. I do my best to just stay in my lane, right? But his self-healing is so bad that I felt like I had to say something. Alright, I'm trying to follow my other monk's advice here and put my little guy there, but here's the truth. I suck at using Transcendence. Knowing what I know now, I would definitely be standing with the melee. Oh, look, and here's the mage getting sassy, even though their DPS sucks. And they died on the last boss because they couldn't not stand and stuff. So, like, man, you were dead most of the last boss fight. Like, you need to, like, mind your own business. Now, it's possible they're from the same server and they're just, like, messing with each other. I don't know. I'm gonna stay out of it for now. Probably not for the whole dungeon, though. I got Withering Discharge out the brains. Like, I don't know what to do, right? I should have hit Diffuse Magic or something. I don't know if it would have helped, but at a certain point, like, basically just popping anything is better than not. And then they go out of range, and I'm just like, you know what? I could just kind of want to say fuck you. Oh, look at there. We got the monk popping off, which I respect. Yeah, you can't do any DPS if you're dead. And I'm just gonna get seated again. And then I just was like so annoyed that I wasn't healing, honestly. I was just really annoyed. It felt like this was definitely a wipe and I just didn't want to deal with it. But like we need interrupts and like not just from like one person. So now we got a little discord in the chat here with people. So the shaman's like, just shut up because you're so busy typing that you're not doing any damage. And you're dying. And I don't disagree with the mage here. That if your gear isn't high enough and your skill isn't high enough, you cannot carry a tank and heals. Or tank or heals, but like, especially not both. And I'm getting kind of the feeling that the tank and I both just don't have the best gear. Alright, so the mage like shit-talked people and then pulled a mob. So it's like... Also, here's the really truly cringe part. I hate this area, by the way, with line of sight. The truly cringe part is I don't really know how these gas bags work. I guess I was far enough away, it wasn't that bad. I was like, the mage is annoying me. I just don't care enough to, like, bust my butt. But yeah, I have very little idea of where to stand on these guys, and like also I'm mad. I think I'm like maybe not angry, like pissed off, but I'm definitely like annoyed by this group. Like, and granted, this was a while ago. This was like, you know, December, early January or something. It was still in December. It was on the 28th that I recorded this. So that was a while ago by now. And I was like, I never want to be the first person to leave a group, but boy, was it getting tempting. Because it's not just like, I don't know why I used revival there. I'm dumb, actually. Like already into the pool, I'm like, this isn't even worth my time. The tank's at the bottom of the healing meters again, basically. But again, knowing what I know now, like, I would be smarter to just get into melee so that, like, those guys aren't bouncing around. Again, using my defensives to try to stay alive. I wasted revival, like, for some reason really early in the pool, so I don't even have it now where it would be useful. Withering Discharge just, like, going off like crazy. We have one interrupt in the whole pool. Makes me kind of think that, like, everybody else is getting mad too and, like, struggling. Like, what else do you say, right? Like, you just LOL. I don't know what else to say. I don't know what else to say. Just LOL. It's like the saddest little LOL. That's me. Like, LOL can mean haha or wow, we're fucked. Or it could mean I hate this group and I can't wait for this to be over with. Right now, it feels like we're gonna be in this group forever. We already got 16 deaths and we got 12 minutes. We didn't even get past the second wing yet. But bet I am not gonna be the first person to leave. In hindsight, if I was doing this challenge again, look, we got a clutch interrupt from that shaman there, by the way. If I was doing this again, I would definitely, and then the Windwalker. Yes, there must be some communication happening on the down low, like in a guild chat or something. I don't know. A third interrupt. I look at that. We had to just die a million times to get interrupts. So anyway, if I was doing this over again, I would have left this group. I would have been like, this is unhealable. And it's not that it's unhealable. Alright, look, our shaman and our windwalker are actually in the same guild. So anyway, like I was saying, if I was doing it over again, I would have just left the group. We spend a long time in this dungeon, and the whole experience is suffering. And for what? Yeah, I got hit by that. I'm a bat, actually. I'm kind of relying on the demon hunter to heal themselves a little bit. Even though, like, it's clear that they're not doing that exactly. Like, look where they are on the healing meters. If this is you as a tank, you're doing something wrong. Alright, my dispel's up. I should be using it. There we go. I got myself. I wasted revival. I've since, like, learned... Yeah, I messed that up, okay? I've since learned that, one, I need to be close to these stupid gas bags so that I can easily get into position. But just know that, like, I was not chill at this point. But here's the advantage. I don't get mouthy, like, in person when I'm frustrated and stuff. I just, like, kind of clam up because, like, it becomes so incredibly hard for me to focus that, like, it takes every ounce of energy that I have just to focus on, you know, not dying. I deserved that. I don't know if at this point I know exactly how that eruption works, but also my depth perception's really bad, so, like, I'm not sure that I know I need to stand to the side, but I did it a few times, so, like, maybe I did know, but, like, my depth perception was off, and also I was annoyed, so, like, extra irritation. I'm not releasing because I'm kind of hoping for a res here. Like, they did... It's not that they did no self-healing, but the Windwalker did a lot more. That's cringe. Like, you can hate the current meta, right? You can hate the current meta of, like, tanks doing self-healing, but unless your gear is gonna, like, enable you to just not take damage, you gotta do the self-healing. This is a 9, and I'm not sure what this guy's gear level is. I could definitely, like, you know, have looked that up or whatever, but... Alright, cat. You don't belong on my desk. So, nobody says anything. So I get the feeling that this tank is, like... He's on the same server, I believe, as the monk and the shaman. But I don't know that they know each other. It's really hard to tell, especially Alliance, where there's only like one server that Alliance tend to play on, and that's Storm Rage. Like, you run into the same, like, people from the same server. It doesn't mean that they know each other. It's just like that's the only server that Alliance play on a lot. Alright, so here's where I'm at right now. We got 6.5 minutes on the timer. We have 22 deaths. This is only a 9, by the way. I feel like I am suffering in like a big way. Like, I feel like I'm suffering. And I'm like, man, but I'm not going to be the one to brick the key. I'm not going to, well, it's already bricked, right? Like, it's mega bricked. I don't want to be the one to leave the group. Oh, look, there's the Demon Hunter score over there. Yeah, just pause that and stare at it for a minute. Like, they haven't done anything in Season 2, it looks like. And there's a reason they didn't get Keystone Master in Season 1. And, like, I think you all know why. And look, they start off their healing pretty good. Look at that. They're starting off well. And I think at first, like, for, like, a quarter of a second, I'm like, they're listening. Oh my god, they're paying attention. They're doing their best to, like, they're realizing that they have to do more healing because they just don't have the gear to carry. But, like, how long is it gonna last? Not long enough. But also, like, it shouldn't have taken that long. I stood in that like a dummy. In my defense again, I am still, like, really annoyed. Like, they're practically dying and they're, like, now they're below the mage. Like, their health dips really low and they don't do anything. And I get chained because I'm dumb. I should have just stood in the slime, honestly, but, like, I was afraid of the slime. So, like, to be clear here, I'm making mistakes too. Like, it's not just this guy. Even though, like, now he's below 2 of the DPS on the healing meter. So, like, his, like, doing any self-healing lasted about 10 seconds. I think everybody in the group is getting frustrated and, like, maybe not playing at their best. And, like, the worst part is, like, we still have a whole nother wing to go. So you know we're not going to time it. You know we're not going to time this. Like, at all. We're not going to time it. Oh, look. Okay, they're second on the healing meters, but look at how little healing they did. And you can see what that was. Just, ugh. Again, I would have just left. If I was doing this now, like, granted, I'm not in the best mood today. Like, a little stressed out, having problems with my elderly cats who has health problems. I'm having some issues with her. And I'm definitely, like, at a point where, like, I'm not feeling the most patient. But we still have this section to deal with, and I think this is the worst. This can be the best section of the dungeon or the worst, but usually it's the worst. And with the group that we have here, it feels like it's going to be the worst. Like, it's clear we're not going to time it. Like, we're not even going to get, like, to the first platform in 2 minutes, you know? Everybody's just, like, begrudgingly staying. Yeah, pull the... See, and then it doesn't help that they pulled everything but the inspired mob. But I'm like, I'm having enough of this guy. Like, I'm sick of him. He has to die. I'm, like, hitting a breaking point, I guess. I mean, I've already hit it. Look at how much self-healing this, Windwalker is doing. And then, like, quickly check out our tank down there. Hate that place. Alright. If I was doing that again, I would have just ran over and tried to, like, cocoon really quick. I feel like I have been wasting cocoon the whole dungeon. Like, I've barely used it, if at all. But, like, our tank's still at the bottom of the healing meters somehow. I don't know enough about demon hunters to... Yeah, betrayed by Night Fae, yeah. I wondered what happened to the guy. Alright, so... This isn't about to be, like, my worst Theater of Pain. Like, it is the worst in terms of, like, probably the most frustrating. Where, like... The group isn't carryable. No matter how well I played here, I don't think that we would have ever timed this. Like, I could have been a literal healing god, and I don't think I could have, you know, done this where we would have still timed it. Like, I don't think it could have saved 23 deaths. And I just, like, get obliterated instantly by 2 of those. Like, no interrupts. There, we got 1 now. Like... I mean, part of that is my gear, right? Like, I don't have good gear. So, by this point in the dungeon, I am annoyed. I am, like, exhausted. I am, like, hitting a breaking point where I'm, like, really annoyed. And I hate this pool. Granted, at this point, I almost died there. Like, that was so close. And Seed is, like, already on cooldown, so... Anyway, I'm, like, extra, like, struggling. Because I'm so... frustrated with this group already. And of course I know, like, if I let the DPS die, then it's just going to take even longer to kill, and I'll have even more stuff to heal through. So I'm, like, begrudgingly trying to keep everybody alive, but, like, I could do it better now, but I'm, like, annoyed, so my play is, like, really bad. So now on to the pool that everybody dreads the most, I think. I've since learned, because, like, it's really hard for me to tell, like, what direction these guys are facing, so it's hard to see, like, where they're gonna throw the stupid wind exactly. And also, see, like, I'm like, I don't know if that's gonna, and it still hit me. And I rolled. Like, I was like, oh, this'll save me. Roll. But I'm not the only one that died. So, like, can I really shit talk everybody in this group when the mage went the wrong way? This is the point where I realize, like, I figure out, like, where each wing actually goes, direction-wise on the map. So, from now on, I think I won't, like, get confused about, like, where to go. The tank is keeping themselves alive-ish. And then they died, so... Like, but they did more self-healing than usual because I wasn't there. Actually, I should say they didn't do more than usual. Like, my self-healing is quite low at this point. I hesitated to get in the portal because I was like, well, if everybody's gonna die, I don't want to pop in, like, right as everybody dies or whatever. I mean, mostly because it would put me in combat and I probably can't kill it by myself, whatever it is. So luckily our Windwalker didn't release and I can just res him right here. So it's one less person we'll have to, like, wait for to run back. And again, this was my bad. Like, I was definitely the cause of the wipe here because I flew off the cliff. I was like, oh, I could reflask. I could eat food. And then I was like, nah, fuck this group. It's not worth my time. 30 deaths on the timer. Yeah, I was like, that was my frustration. That's how I get it out of the game. I'm just like, future me, look at this. Can you believe this nonsense? Oh yeah, I guess to make it worse, it is Grievous Week, so, like, when people take damage, now they're taking a lot of damage, which makes it even more important that the tank do a little self-healing to help me, because, like, everybody else is taking extra damage that normally they don't take, but nah, tank ain't about that life. And then I die again immediately. Son of a bitch. That was my bad. And I released. I probably shouldn't have. Yeah, I'm figuring it out. Don't worry, don't worry. I shouldn't have released because, like, they could have just rezzed me, but... It was like the rage release. I think you know what I'm talking about. So, like, they did add a patch or thing in where your corpse shows up on the platform when you fly off. It didn't... I don't think it worked every time. Yeah, someone's like, the timer's long gone anyway. Like, who cares? It's not like it's, like, a minute. Yeah, so I haven't played Theater of Pain enough since 9.0 to have, like, realized that that was, like, a thing. Like, the first time it happened, probably in one of the ones I didn't record, I was kind of like, alright, you know, that's a thing. Does it always do that? And then, like, because it didn't before. So I think I went, like, alright, maybe that's a thing. At this point, I'm realizing it is a thing, but I still, like, kind of rage released. And then the key holder is like, who cares about the timer? And I'm like, oh. I mean, I do. That's why I'm here. Oof. Lots of damage going out here. Revival is like a godsend. We have a couple interrupts at least, which is better than it was before. Yeah. Now the monk is like, bruh. How's my DPS now, bro? Nice. Yeah, so seeing that this guy doesn't even care about the timer is like, oh, okay, I guess I don't give a crap either. But like the dungeon's almost over, so at this point, we made it this far. It's like, I feel like it'd be dumb not to just finish the dungeon. Like, what's the worst that's gonna happen? We'll die some more? Also, I think I mentioned something about Mystic Touch earlier on the first boss, but like we have a Windwalker, so my brain just isn't functioning today. Yeah, so we have a Windwalker. I don't need to put Mystic Touch on anything. I should still be helping with damage a little bit when I can. This is, I think the dungeon that made me go about Grievous. I wasn't like clearly I'm not tracking Grievous right now because like anybody that has health missing is taking Grievous damage, right? The mage went into like the mage using cooldowns to try to help, and I'm just like shook that so much damage is going out. The boss isn't even half dead. So my tactic here is almost always to dispel a DPS if the tank gets it, because the tank can do self-healing. Granted, this one doesn't seem to be doing a lot of it, but at least he's number 2 on the healing meters now. It's an improvement over like some of the parts of this. I've since learned that what I should do if I get it and a DPS gets it, dispel the DPS, use diffuse magic on myself. Big brain. In fact, the best way to do that is even to not use it if it happens on the first cast, but to like save it so that if it happens in the middle of the fight, it's like an easy option. Yeah, so I'm like struggling. Luckily this boss is almost dead, but I drink a mana pot anyway because I'm like I really do not want to do this fight all over again. And I know that if I don't do any healing, then the group is like gonna die in like a second. Because the damage going out is just really high. Like, I don't even have anything to like heal other people, really. I'm like, don't run off when I'm trying to heal you, bro. Like, they're all running for the final boss, but it's like... Alright, we got the monk trying to, like, help himself, at least. Sometimes DPS are somewhat self-sufficient. Not a lot, but a little bit. Alright, the final boss. I do not like this fight, not the biggest fan. Especially at this point, like, I barely know the fight. It feels like so much is going on that I struggle to pay attention to everything that's happening. But I do get better at it. And we will not have heroism for this. So that's like super unfortunate, but it is what it is. Okay. So we're starting out strong enough. Here's a mistake that I am making. I am not standing in melee. I should be, though. Mostly because it's just easier, usually. I think I got a little bit lucky here, but it's usually easier to be standing, like, somewhat close to melee, just to avoid that stupid like, conal ability that she does. Because you could just run behind her before she casts it. So, like, people are taking their time killing these guys. There we go, we got him down. I'm not 100% sure how much damage those guys do, but I don't want to deal with it. That much I know. And here's a truly wild thing. Like, so far, this boss is easier than the others. Now, is that going to hold through the whole boss fight? I don't know. Watch and find out. Probably not. Yes. I don't know. I feel like the previous boss with the dispels and stuff make him, like, really difficult to deal with. I just got lucky that her thing went that way. The mage is going to die. They did ice block to try to, like, save themselves, so, like, if they hadn't ice blocked, they would have died. I revival because I don't know what to do. I should have just cocooned the tank here. Or myself, even better. But I don't do that. I do prioritize, like, avoiding the Toralis or whatever those guys are, the little echo guys. I do prioritize avoiding those. Which is smart because, like, at my gear level, they may very well just, like, one-shot me. Usually somewhat safe here in the corner. Tiger's List saving my life. Part whatever this is. I'm desperate. Use, like, every cooldown I have. Like, please save me! Also, I am deeply sorry if you hear a cat scratching in the litter box. I'm unfortunately have to share a room with a cat litter box, so it's an experience sometimes. Alright, so I did get some rating from this, but we, like, I mean, not only did we not time this, but, like, I mean, look at the avoidable damage taken. I'm at the top of the list for this fight, so at least it's over, you know? I'm like, I made it through. I got a ring, which is an upgrade, so, like, at least I got something out of it. It's not much, but it's something. Like, I will take it. It's way better than a 184. I'm, like, creeping to see, you know. It's a polearm. I don't need it. Alright, so we made it to the end. Look at the healing done again. This is for the final boss. It wasn't even that big of a struggle to heal, so I'm not even mad about the last boss. But the fact that the tank isn't even in the top 4 on this last boss is like, I was gonna inspect him and, like, all that stuff, but then I was like, I don't know, maybe I should just chill. It's not worth it. Like, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. We made it through. I am suffering. Alright. So, I try to be nice to this guy. I don't know if he knows that guy or not. And I'm still in a group with him for some reason, but, like, I'm putting him on my ignore list immediately. The monk is chill. He's like, it's totally cool that we didn't time the key. And I'm like, God, I wish... Oh, he just wanted a weapon. Alright, you know what? Good for him. I feel like if you just want to complete it, though, you should probably put that in your title. Because I wouldn't have joined the group if it would have said completion, probably. Or at least if I had, I would be like, alright, these people are maybe under-geared, and I can't expect a lot from the group. So, we got an upgrade from this terrible group. And I'm not done suffering yet. I'm gonna find another dungeon, actually, because I just, you know, what I'm hoping is that I will redeem myself in the next dungeon. Like, it'll be worth my time. I'll get to redeem myself. I'll get to feel better about myself. Like, okay, I'll be perfectly honest with you. Even though I said to the tank, like, your self-healing isn't good enough or whatever, I was, like, still feeling a little bit bad about myself. And looking at, like, I'm even over here looking at overall healing, overall avoidable damage. The tank is at the top, but then I'm right under them, so can I really say anything? But, like, the healing done, they're way at the bottom. They did 3 interrupts the whole dungeon. The whole dungeon. Of course, the mage did 1. So, you know, what does that say? Anyway, I felt a little bit bad about myself, and I thought, all right, maybe if I do another dungeon, I'll, like, redeem myself. Through the magic of editing, you don't have to watch me look for a new group. I found a group for Mists of Tirna Scithe. This is a +8, and I am apprehensive. My reason for being apprehensive is based 100% on the fact that this takes place immediately after my Theater of Pain that I did before this. So it's like the same day, just like, you know, so many minutes later in the day. And for also, this first pull is usually kind of rough. And he pulled big, which is terrifying, actually. But check out that tank's self-healing, though. Like, he ain't messing around. He's doing almost as much healing as me. Granted, my healing isn't great here. I should have definitely, like, used Cocoon on somebody. And I should dispel this guy. There we go. But, like, this is what... So, I start this off and I'm like, we didn't die. So, are we gonna time this? Because we didn't die right out of the gate. After the last dungeon, this felt like... I mean, everybody took a lot of damage, but it was a big pull. It wasn't like a... You know what I mean? We have a demon hunter, so I'm hoping that they'll imprison and then we could just walk by. Yep. That's why I sat and drank. Otherwise, I would have, you know, paralysis ring of peace the mob. Alright, I'm gonna get a couple sips in. Not too many sips. After my last tank, I'm a little gun shy. I want to make sure this one is taken care of. But look at him on the self-healing. You're doing amazing, sweetie. I should be working harder to get Mystic Touch up on these guys. Obviously, I didn't even try there. Or I guess I did at the last second, but that's dumb. Because I have, you know, a Demon Hunter and a Hunter in the group. So, they would benefit from me doing that. So, while people grab the shrooms and the tank, you know, uses wings, I'm gonna sit and drink. What I should do is, I don't think I needed the drink. I should have just got Mystic Touch up on the mobs real quick. And, cause like, the tank is gonna do pretty good damage. He has wings up and everything. I could have amplified that a little bit more. Also, it's not like a lot of damage comes out right away. The group is really good about killing one of these at a time, so that they're not thrashing at the same time, which I do appreciate. I mean, it makes things slower, but I'm not struggling. things are looking okay so far. I'm gonna drink immediately. 'Cause you just never know. This boss normally doesn't have a lot of damage going out, but some groups, man, are just unpredictable. I did get Mystic Touch up. I'm doing my part. The key with those is to move as little as humanly possible, so I could have probably done a little bit better, but I still didn't move a whole lot. Alright, we got the guy down. We got Time Warp. I'm running in. We didn't get him all the way down, but we got him to 50%. That's not too bad. Honestly, couldn't tell you why I used Yulon. I think it all boils down to, like, my keybinds being bad, but I will fix those soon. Very soon. I think in the next video I'll be fixing those, so you can see some new keybinds. Because you've noticed, like, that I click things that are on the bar above Voodoo, and my reason for that is because even though they are keybound to my, like, 12 buttons on my mouse or whatever, I can't reach them very well. It's very difficult for me to reach them, so did it really do me a lot of good to have them bound to the mouse when I can't reach them? Not really. So, like, sometimes I use the mouse for them if, like, I'm having a better pain day, but then when my hand hurts or whatever, I just click them because I'm right there using Voodoo anyway. Alright, so on Fortified Weeks, this is the maze. Yeah, the maze on Fortified is, like, just way worse. These guys hurt a lot, too. And they are dying what feels like very slowly. I do stun them in the hopes that it will help a little bit. And actually the tank is, like, way out healing me right now, which is awesome. Alright, so I marked the first one so we can run right through. This is a pool that's really bad. And this specific run is what teaches me how to do this pool on Inspiring Week. So you really need to CC this pool because you have 2 tenders and an inspired defender, I think. And the defender has the unfortunate, like, side effect of... Yikes. It has the unfortunate side effect of being the inspired mob, so you can't... So the tenders heal, but you can't interrupt them because you have an inspired defender that's preventing you from interrupting the heal, and then the tenders just heal the defender. And you can see we tried to CC, but the CC kept getting, like, broken. And, like, now, like, I tried to use paralysis, but my awareness wasn't very good, and I realized, like, oh, he's, like, in the others. So, like, what I should have done in the first place was Ring of Peace him back, and then use paralysis. But, like, he's got dots up and stuff on him, so anything I do is gonna just fail. So we're wasting time here. Like, we should have reset the mobs or died or, like, whatever we gotta do. If everybody works as a team... See, I tried to use paralysis again, which was stupid of me. I should have waited till I had Ring of Peace and paralysis up. And this is where the issue comes, like, with the tank using Consecrate. Like, if this mob walks into the Consecrate, now he can't be crowd controlled for, like, however long the Consecration has left on it. So this is us just spending way too many minutes doing this. And it's not like our damage is terrible, but like you can't heal through those things. Like you can't. And with stuff like Blizzard and everything down, like you can't even stun the defender or anything for more than like a second. You can't use any crowd control. The tank hasn't called for a wipe yet, but like, and I can heal forever. That's the thing. Like, nobody's taking that much damage. I could heal this forever, but it's wasting our time. We're gonna spend like 5 minutes on this pool and for no reason, basically. So I take the stance like, all right, maybe if I help damage him, maybe we could get it, but then like no. Like look at his health just going back up. And this is going to happen every time he gets low, and we have 2 tenders that are healing him, so it's miserable. Like, it's... I mean, knowing what I know now, I would have just died. I would have just stood in the... Yeah, and see, now the tank is like, alright, I had enough of this shit. And I heal him because I'm stupid. Alright, tank dies on purpose. Now it's my... I don't know why I'm running. Yeah. So, like, and I'm not the only one that tried to crowd control him. Like, the Demon Hunter tried. I think the Hunter might have tried once. He needs to be crowd controlled. Like, and it's literally the second pull of the maze. I should not have res. I should have just made LS release. We'll run into LS again later, by the way. Alright. We have some crowd control down. Pull the mobs away, and now we can safely, like, interrupt, stun, etc. We got our interrupts, like, you see that? I think this would have been timeable easily if we hadn't wasted so much time here. But the time that we spent here is like... We still have the rest of the maze to go. This isn't even like the last pull of the maze or anything. It's like the second one. So we still have the whole rest of the maze to go. This is the only bad pull in the maze, by the way, if I'm remembering correctly. Every other pull in the maze is totally legit. Our tank is feeling pressed for time, so he pulls the mob over here. Alright. Basically, my goal is always try to get the maze completed before the mobs die. And I would argue the higher the difficulty, the more likely that is to happen. In low difficulties, sometimes stuff just dies too fast. I'm feeling pressed for time, so I decide to help DPSing a little bit. Especially now that I feel a little more comfortable that the tank will heal himself a little bit now and then. Like, just looking at him on the healing meters, like he's way above me. He's doing like double the healing. So like I don't have to worry about him. He's not going to die if I look away for 2 seconds. Mage almost died there, dang. Alright. We are slowly solving the maze. If I was doing this again, I would just be faster about the maze. Because I'm really bad at remembering what was where, but I do remember this one, I guess. Alright. The rest of the maze isn't bad. Honestly, nothing about this maze is that terrible except that first pull on Fortified Inspiring. That sucks. Because you can't zerg them down fast enough. I mean, if we would have had like really good DPS, maybe. But we do not. Alright. Feels like this guy is taking forever to die, but he's trash and it's Fortified week, so... It'd probably help if I, like, just got in there and did some damage. My, like, bad contribution to damage is, not helping.
I'm out of range.
No fooling you.
I don't know what I was doing there. I think I was worried that this was a scary pool like the first one, but it's not. Tiger's Lust is OP AF. A lot of damage here, but it's not that bad. Like, it doesn't feel as bad. A good revival, I think. I don't feel like I wasted it there. It was just like it made things easier for me, and it's got to be better than nothing.
I need to get closer.
Things are looking a little rough. Gotta focus on the group. That anima injection does a lot of damage, so need to get rid of it as soon as possible. The mage just got obliterated. I could have healed him if I would have cocooned, though. My opinion about dying in the maze, if you die in the maze, just release and run back. It's not that far. I mean, mostly because we have a Night Fae. Both me and the Demon Hunter are Night Fae, so we got the seed and everything. So you start right at the beginning. I'm drinking, but if I was doing it over again,
No fooling you.
I would have just ran through. In fact, I should have markered it because, like, obviously nobody knew what was going on. I think that specific path confuses people every single time. Also, anima injection is one of the reasons why it's really important for the group to stay, like, close enough that I can see everybody. Damage is high. I'm struggling a little bit. I should just cocoon the tank there. I felt like I was really, really good at cocoon. And then, like, some reason, I don't know why the reason, but for some reason it was like I got worse at using it actually. So they're kiting, but like they left me in the dust in my ring of peace, like I put in the wrong spot. I stunned it. Try to buy the mage a little more time. The tank probably healed the hunter. Want that stalker to die, they do a lot of damage. This is also like a lot of time spent doing this. Of course, if I would have used Cocoon, it wouldn't be as bad. Alright. X off the add-on, because I don't use it on the boss. Might as well get some mana while I can, because even though it's fortified, and it's probably not going to be too bad, you just never know how many dodgeballs are going to get eaten by your DPS. Mystic Touch up. Took me too long, but I did do it, I guess. It's the circle. I actually messed up that CC there. That was my bad. I have paralysis up again. If it's not focused on me, I could probably get close enough to Touch of Death it, but you also don't want to risk it if it's near other players because it'll probably hit somebody and then you'll be caught in it. I don't have paralysis for this one.
It's too far away.
It's the full leaf.
I need to get closer.
Like, I put the marker on it, but, like, I realize, like, by default, a lot of these tend to get marked, and people might not see it. Like, a lot of people use the add-on that auto-marks everything, and then they... So, like, the tank can just call out, like, oh, star, or whatever, but... I guess nobody in this group has it. But because of it, people tend to, like, accidentally ignore. The tank coming in clutch with a heal there on the mage. I would say this would be a fun fight, except it's like it can be terrifying actually. It's a circle.
I'm out of range.
I'm still using Yulon incorrectly. I'm so embarrassed. Don't look at it. Die. Nah, it wasn't fun. It's one of those fights where it's interesting, and I don't hate it, but it can be stressful. And I would say overall my group wasn't that bad on the fight. I still don't have to like it though. Alright, let's get this seed because you never know who's going to go flying off the cliff. You just gotta hope that it's never going to be you. What I wouldn't do for an interrupt, by the way. Luckily, our tank got us covered. And our tank, I just want to point this out again. Our tank is doing good self-healing. It's what we love to see. Granted, he's a paladin, so he's probably going to do a little more self-healing than some of the other tanks out there, like Warrior. But Demon Hunter tanks should be, like, kind of up there on the healing meters. At least in my experience. Next time you see me in a video with a Demon Hunter tank, check that healing done section and see how it compares to the last tank that we had. For a second I thought that Demon Hunter was going to go flying off the cliff. Luckily he didn't, but you know, wouldn't be like the first time that I've seen something crazy happen.
I'm out of range.
Don't mind me, guys. I'm just contributing to DPS. But, like, poorly. Because not only am I a Mistweaver, but I'm a garbage tier Mistweaver. We pulled these bugs. I did try to paralysis them for some reason. Not quite sure why I did that, but it's fine. Sometimes I dispel the poison, sometimes I don't. Depends on my mood. If a lot of people get it, then I tend to dispel it just because, you know, it's easy. But at this key level, it doesn't do that much damage. Anyway, we have like 4 minutes left, so you feel pretty confident that we're not going to time this. Maybe not like 100% confident, but you're like, I don't know if we can be that fast. Like maybe if we did some crazy pull, but I don't think any of us have the gear. And I certainly don't have the skill to heal it. So at least not right here. But very much do not have the gear. The tank is feeling pressured, however, and pulls the next pack. And I'm doing my part. I'm feeling it too, because I'm like, man, we only got 3 minutes to take this boss down. We're not gonna make it. And again, check out the tank. Check out the self-healing. We do love to see it. Alright, we're right by the boss now. At least here, if people stand in this stuff and go flying, they're not gonna fly off a cliff. So I guess there's that advantage. This tank's really helping out. Alright, so we have the boss engaged with less than 2 minutes left. I moved too much with the thing. I probably shouldn't have, but it's fine. 1.5 minutes left. We're struggling. We're gonna get it. Maybe. So far, the only person interrupting is the tank. Will that change? Oh, LS coming in clutch there. Good thing the tank's interrupting. This is just like going to show that like your DPS can be complete monkeys, but as long as the tank's interrupting this boss, it's fine. Tiger's Lust has got to be good for something. I mean, it's come in clutch a lot, but I like that I can use it on somebody else.
I'm out of range.
I ran too far, but it's because I'm looking for the hunter. As we know, hunters like to stand in Narnia. Luckily, our tank cares about the hunter and is like putting heals on them.
Your actions are easy to anticipate.
And I'm just making it like harder and harder to dodge that crap. But what can you do? Demon Hunter breaking the mind link immediately. Amazing job. I could also definitely stun these guys. That's right, I didn't do, but our timer expired anyway. We just don't have the damage to kill the boss fast enough. And we still need percent. So, like, even if we would have killed the boss in time, we would have had to get a little more trash percent. So, I don't think we would have timed it there. However, I just want to point out all that time that we spent in the maze not wiping because we were, like, trying not to die, right? We would have timed it if we hadn't spent that long fighting that trash. Pretty much guaranteed. So I guess that's something to just keep in mind. Like, keep it at the back of your mind if you ever do that pull in mists and it's fortified inspiring. Just die if you forget to CC. Or if you're in a group in Discord or whatever, you can, communicate to your group and tell them that you need to CC, but otherwise, in randoms, it's gonna be too hard to coordinate, especially with like so many dots and stuff up. So we didn't time it, but we still got some score from it. And no loot, but that's fine. It wasn't frustrating. I was disappointed, and I would say that it was disheartening to not time it, especially when I just had that really bad theater of pain. It felt pretty bad to not time 2 in a row. Especially it was like I was timing everything and then 2 in a row I didn't time. So I felt like maybe like is it me? Am I bad actually? Like are these too difficult for me? So I definitely went to work the next day and was like, "Man, I don't know. Like it could just be me." But anyway, this was a nice group. Nobody was rude or whiny or complainy, so that was cool. Now, to take a look at our bingo cards. Alright, so for Painful Bingo, we got the Tank and Healer as the last one standing. We had that in an earlier dungeon, but it was only for like 2 seconds. So this was more like 10 seconds, where it was just me and the tank left alive, and that was in Theater of Pain. And then also, we got the tank does little or no self-healing, also from Theater of Pain. So both of our painfuls are from Theater of Pain and our unique Demon Hunter tank. And then for Wholesome Bingo, we actually also got 2, and that is both relating to the timer. So the group had a positive attitude even when we failed the timer. The key holder of Theater of Pain was totally chill. Nobody left the mists either. And then, specifically for Theater of Pain, the dungeon clearly was not going to time, but everybody stayed for completion. Yeah, people were complaining and getting a little salty in the chat, and I think everybody was frustrated, but it was very clear early on that it was not going to time, and everybody still stayed anyway. So, because I wasn't going to be the first one to leave, right? So if everybody has that attitude, then it gets completed, I guess. So we didn't get a bingo, but we're like super close on both of these, but especially on Wholesome Bingo, we're really close. We just need one in a couple different spots and we'll have it. So that's all we have time for today. This is kind of a long episode because of 2 untimed keys in it, but I guess it makes for some interesting content. So, anyway, until next time, take care of yourselves and happy healing.